Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Butterfly Book Club. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Today we are reading A Life of Song, the story of Ella Jenkins, the First Lady of Children's Music. Written by Taiwana Taylor and illustrated by Jade Johnson. Ella Jenkins always had an ear for rhythm and rhyme. Growing up in Chicago, Illinois, she soaked up all the sounds around her. Wade in the water, get your watermelon. Every road has a turning. Ella lived with her mother, brother, Aunt Big Mama, and Uncle Flood. Every day when Uncle Flood returned home from work, Ella found her way to the dining room to watch him play one of the many harmonicas he kept in his vest. When he played his blues tunes, Ella hummed and whistled along. She wanted to create her own music, just like Uncle Flood. Ella found thin paper and wrapped it around a comb. She blew on it, and out came a buzzing sound. It didn't sound like the full melodies that came from Uncle Flood's harmonica, but it was a sound she'd created all on her own. One day, she discovered that the famous jazz musician Cab Calloway was coming to the Regal Theater. The city buzzed with excitement. Ella's brother got free tickets and invited Ella to see Cab perform. The cool of the vast, dark theater surrounded them as they settled into the soft velvet seats. Then the audience burst into an applause as Cab Calloway and his band took the stage. Cab Calloway sang, "Heedy, heedy, heedy, hi." Everyone in the audience sang, "Heidi, Heidi, Heidi, oh." Ella mixed her voice with the voices around her, and the sounds combined into a roar. She loved how Cab Calloway created music with his audience. She had been making music by herself, playing her own harmonica. But could music be a way to bring people together? Ella's mother could see her baby loved to make music. Mother worked hard all day long, washing clothes, cooking food, and cleaning homes around Chicago. She saved every penny until she had enough money to buy her daughter a harmonica. When Ella played, she found her voice, outpoured notes that she could bend with a single breath or wobble with the cup of her hand. The harmonica opened a new world for Ella. She could do more than listen to the rhymes and sounds around her. She could make them herself. Ella had reason to wonder about how to bring people together. In the 1940s, Chicago was a segregated city where Black people could only live around other Black people. They had to go to separate schools, eat in separate restaurants, and could not get the same jobs because of the color of their skin. Ella could see that separate but equal was not equal. Even though people lived separated by race, Ella made friends who had different backgrounds. All of her friends shared the belief that it was wrong to treat people differently just because of the color of their skin. They supported equality and civil rights for all. As talk about civil rights grew louder, Ella's voice grew louder too. Protests sprouted through the city, and she joined in. They marched, held sit-ins, and boycotted to demand equality for all. And of course, Ella sang. Ella realized that music could be her tool to bring people together and fight for a fair and equal world. To reach her dream, she would have to leave her home in the South Side of Chicago. Ella moved to San Francisco for college, where she studied child psychology. She lived and worked at a Jewish girls' boarding home. The girls taught her Jewish songs and told her about Jewish culture. Shabbat Shalom. Ella was hungry to learn more music, just as she had as a child. Ella soaked up all the sounds around her. She learned Cuban music from Cuban percussionist Armando Peraza. She sang spiritual songs with brother John Sellers. She riffed and improvised jazz tunes with Big Bill Broonzy. Even when Ella returned to Chicago, she continued to sing songs from different cultures. She took a job as a program director at the YMCA and introduced songs she learned to kids at the YMCA. She'd sing, "Moon don't go," and they would echo back, "Moon don't go." Ella used Cab Calloway's call and response technique to create simple rhythmic songs with children. Ella found her path. She decided to become a professional musician, and she knew just the audience that would embrace the new rhythms and languages she had learned. Children. In 1956, she created a 7-year plan to become a professional musician. Her first step was to make a music album. Using her own instruments, she recorded 4 songs she'd written. A friend urged her to travel to New York to meet Moses Ash, the founder of Folkways Recordings. Ella took the next bus to New York and boldly approached Mo with her songs. He loved her work and her confidence. He signed her to his record label, right then and there. Soon she recorded her first album, Call and Response, rhythmic group singing. Just as she was creating her album, Ella was asked to teach world music on a show called This Is Rhythm on Totem Club, a popular children's television show. She shared American folk songs, Japanese folk and dance songs, and South African children's songs. She introduced music from around the world to children across Chicago. Ella also took her audience back in time to follow the rhythms and songs that enslaved people created. She sang spirituals like Steal Away and spoke about the cruelties of American slavery. Principals saw Ella on television and began inviting her to perform for schools throughout the United States. She drove through many states, singing for children in the countryside and children in the cities. During this time, the fight for civil rights was spreading across the United States. Those who were against this change used their power, and sometimes violence, to resist this change. Even though it could be dangerous, Ella still took to the road. She brought along the only tool she needed to fight discrimination and racism: music. Each place brought its challenges. Ella would get a terrible feeling in her stomach when she arrived somewhere new. She never knew if people would be unkind to her because of the color of her skin. Sometimes she wasn't allowed to stay at a hotel because she was black. In other places, restaurant owners wouldn't allow her to eat at their restaurants. Ella stood tall and demanded to be treated as an equal. She told school principals to call the hotels and restaurants to make sure they gave her and her drivers a place to stay and eat. Ella knew she had the gift of music to offer the world. Despite the discrimination she faced on tour, Ella loved sharing music with children because they were open-minded and curious. They were ready for new sounds, new songs, and new ideas. Her audience participated in every performance. They clapped, jumped, danced, and sang along. She sang, "Who fed the chickens?" They sang, "We fed the chickens." Making music with children was a revolutionary act. Singing together helped to tear down barriers, like segregation, which kept people apart. For many children, Ella was the first Black woman they saw on a stage, in charge, and leading the whole room together. Ella's career continued to grow. She made many music albums and toured the world. During her travels, she learned songs from different cultures and explored these songs' lyrics and rhymes with children. When she returned home, Ella continued to use her music to unite people. In 1964, she performed at the Martin Luther King Jr. Illinois rally for civil rights at Soldier Field. Tens of thousands of people endured the sweltering heat and rain to stand together. Today, Ella's music can be heard in homes and classrooms across the globe. Her courageous acts helped children connect to each other and see that they were more alike than different. Ella has one question for you. Will you sing a song together? Ella shared music with children on all 7 continents, in countless countries, and in all 50 states in America. She learned instruments like the ukulele, castanets, clavs, tom-toms, bamboo drums, bongos, and gyros during her travels. Ella's music helped her connect and build bridges with people everywhere. She learned new songs wherever she went. While touring schools in the South in the 1960s, Ella met future U.S. Representative John Lewis and learned the song, "You Better Leave Segregation Alone." In New Zealand, she learned a Moira battle chant when she discovered that the Moira people were also fighting for their rights. In East Africa, she learned how to count in Swahili. Just as she had as a child, Ella soaked up all the sounds around her. Ella's music career spans 70 years. Her work was groundbreaking in many ways. She was one of the first musicians to tour and create music for children. She was the first Black woman to host her own show for children in Chicago. She was the first children's musician to be given a Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award. And she was the first children's musician to be honored as a National Endowment for the Arts National Heritage Fellow. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you like and subscribe. Check out our other videos at the Butterfly Book Club on youtube.com, and also click the link in our bio to check out our website that has free learning materials that go along with all of our book read-alouds. Again, please make sure you subscribe.